Have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have. Two actually. So my first one would be a binge eating disorder, and then depression.
As Sid said, too, with depression and anxiety.
Like 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, so like depression and then anxiety.
I've been through depression, anxiety.
Depression, anxiety.
For depression and anxiety, yes.
I have been diagnosed with anxiety and OCD.
A lot of anxiety.
Yes, I struggle with anxiety.
I have had depression and anxiety since middle school.
Alright, so I asked this first question. Have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
No.
What kind of mental disorders?
Depression, anxiety.
Like stress disorder.
Being bipolar.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, I have experienced 2 mental disorders. One of them is ADHD, and the other one is depression. They don't conflict. It sucks.
Hi, my name is Zach Williams. In this documentary, we are going to be seeing and hearing from young adolescents talking about how they struggle with the mental illness and also how they cope with it. Some adolescents in this documentary do not struggle with mental health illnesses, but may have peers or family members who do struggle with it. We're going to be hearing how they cope with it, how it affects their daily movements, and what they think or believe that society is doing to contribute to help young adolescents with the mental health illnesses. We may hear different opinions about whether society is doing all they can to help young adolescents with their mental health illnesses. We also may hear different stories of how we can reach out to others and help them in times of need.
That's 15 million kids, most of whom don't get help. In fact, 60% with depression and 80% with anxiety do not get any treatment.
In this part of the documentary, we are going to be hearing from our young adolescents stating about their mental health illnesses, which ones that they struggle from, and some who may not struggle with any but may also have friends or family who do struggle with mental health illnesses, and also how they cope with them.
Sweet. Alright, so first question is, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have.
Depression, anxiety.
For depression and anxiety, yes.
Alright, so how have you handled depression and anxiety?
It's been kind of hard because like there's so much stuff going on at once, and anxiety is like you don't easily handle that. So like what I've done is I've come up with these coping mechanisms. I used to see a counselor. Basically what I do is when I'm stressing a lot, I try to think of the best case scenario, because when you have anxiety, you think of the worst case scenario. So what I try to do is think of the best case scenario instead.
So first question, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
No, I wouldn't say I had.
I most definitely have.
Well, CC, do you know anybody that has?
Yeah, I know people that have. I
You
said,
could even say me. It's
yeah,
fine.
like you're the. That's why I did the little.
Yeah. No, I've
suffered from, I don't want to use the word suffer, but I've dealt with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all the pretty common stuff, I would say.
So how have you handled that in certain situations throughout like your day-to-day life?
Not healthily. Is that a word? Healthily? I haven't dealt with them in the most healthy ways, I would say. At least, I mean, now in like the past year, I've sort of like after I've like got older and like started learning better coping mechanisms, I've handled it better. But in the past, food, cake. I had a lot of cake.
So you kind of had like an eating disorder?
Yeah, definitely. I've gone through a lot. No, but yeah, I would say food, and then just like dark thoughts.
She's not the only one. Yeah.
Just like leading, like my brain, letting myself go down like dark paths, I would say. If that, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's more like I stress, so I don't really think it's like depression, but I do stress eat. Like, I don't know if they're like in the same category, but like it happens, but not in a sense where I'm just like in a dark place.
Yeah.
I can, like, you can see it coming, but it's like you're not there yet, if that makes sense.
So what were some ways to help you kind of prevent that? Your stress.
Normally, like, it's not fun. I'm not trying to be funny, but I watch TV. So like whenever like I watch TV, I just like, or like I research things or stuff like to keep my mind off of why I even like, you know, feel that way. I just do small stuff like that to not think about it.
Ready. Alright, so this first question. Have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
No.
Alright. So if somebody did have a mental disorder, how would you like help them in a way, or like help them like find a way to get through like their day with the disorder?
If I had a friend, or if I had a peer who had a mental disorder, my best advice for them would be to seek help from a professional or even a counselor or a teacher, just because I feel like a lot of us teenagers, we try to put things in our own hands. We try to help our friends out one-on-one. I feel like that's not the best option at times because we are not experienced individuals yet. We're still young.
All right, so have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
My sister, she kind of suffers from anxiety and depression. So that's like one thing that I've experienced. My sister, just watching her grow up, you know, with depression. And it like slowly like it gradually like grows kind of.
Not really, just my sister as well. She had like depression, but now she's getting better. That's good.
Have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have had depression and anxiety since middle school.
How have you handled that disorder?
Well, I first reached out to my parents about it because I would just have like panic attacks every single morning. So then I got signed up for like therapy and stuff, and every single Friday I go to therapy.
All right, so like, how have you like handled in like certain situations during school or like at home?
During school, it can definitely trigger a lot of emotions, especially associated with depression. Sometimes I'll get really unmotivated to do homework and I'll procrastinate, which the driving force behind procrastination is anxiety about the assignment. I also have perfectionism, which doesn't help at all. So during school, it can be really stressful, and I'm very competitive, so I want to be the best, but obviously I can't be the best in every situation. So in those moments, I have the Calm app on my phone. I use that to kind of decompress and get rid of the anxious feelings and even a panic attack that's going on before a test. I also reach out to my friends who are a big help.
Have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
I have. I faced a lot of anxiety, and I'd say it was not really pretty.
So,
pretty world.
How long have you been going through it?
I went through it during probably freshman and sophomore year, maybe a bit through junior year, and then kind of just stopped giving myself so much anxiety.
All right, now, how have you like handled this during school? Or, like,
I
just
would keep
outside
it.
of the house.
I would keep it hidden during school. So normally you would see me happy, like normal, just no smiley, because I just didn't want to show it at school. Like I was just like at school, like nobody will care, and I just don't want to. But after school, that's where it was bad, where I was just like really lonely, sad. Like I just shut myself down from the world. Every single time you would come into my room, it was all dark.
Interesting. So first question, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
I would say like really like minor anxiety, I guess, because like whenever like I go to like a big crowd, like I feel like very like nervous and like I don't want people like bumping into me. But I don't know if that's just like a pet peeve or like just like minor anxiety, I guess. Like, right? Would that be like a name for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever faced a mental disorder because that's like a prolonged type of thing. But I've had like bouts of, I don't want to say depression, like sadness, I guess.
Yeah.
So to you,
Yeah.
how have you like handled your disorder in certain situations?
I mean, I don't think I handled it well because like previously we went to the mall for like Christmas shopping and it was like busy because everyone's Christmas shopping and like I just felt like very like nervous because like there's so many people and like so many lines and then I just went like home because like I didn't want to be around all those people, so I don't think I handled it well.
First question, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like mistake?
What kind of mental disorders?
Depression.
Yeah, depression,
anxiety.
like stress disorders.
Horrible.
Being bipolar.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
schizophrenia.
Alright, so how have you handled your disorder in certain situations?
Listen to music.
Hang out with homies. Smoke some weed.
Yeah, smoking that kush.
Leah. Horribly. I'm just gonna say that.
Alright, so first question, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have been diagnosed with anxiety and OCD.
Got you. So how have you handled your disorder in certain situations during the day?
During the day? Well, in certain situations, it's harder than others. I think with school, it's actually kind of not a good thing, but it motivates me because I'm, anxious to get things done all the time. But with like social situations and my personal life, it's been a lot harder because of the decisions I've had to make. Simple decisions that are really hard. I have had a few different therapists, but I've decided that I like kind of handling things on my own. But it definitely affects a lot of my life, and it has more in the past, but it's been an ongoing issue most of my life.
Gotcha. Alright, so first question, Kaylin. So you told me that you don't have you never had a mental disorder.
Yes.
So like, do you know anybody that has?
My mother. Got depression.
So how did she deal with it?
She tends to go out a lot, but like not like a lot. But like, I feel like she struggles on it a little bit. But at the same time, she kind of sits and thinks about like certain things, thinks about happy stuff, or like she'll come talk to me, or like she'll just want to go out and like get away from everything.
Got you. So I guess like, did it affect you growing up? Did she have it when you was, little?
No, not when I was growing up. It kind of happened like when my whole family kind of like, my little brother went off to Houston, kind of like our family just fell apart. That's when she like started to really realize, oh, she got it.
Now, has that affected you in any way?
I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks seeing her down a lot, but like she takes pills, and like she used to go to a therapist to talk about everything because I don't want to talk about stuff with her because like she cries, I cry. Like that's just like a domino effect.
So how about you? Do you have a mental disorder kid?
No, I do not.
So do you know anybody that has?
I don't actually know. I feel like some people be saying they do and they don't really actually do. But I know people who say they have mental disorders.
Now, when you say when people think they do, like, do you think that like is a problem with that?
Yeah, Yeah, because like in this generation, they kind of generalize like having like mental disorders. Like when people say they're bipolar, they don't mean they're actually like, they mean like their moods just change quickly, and not like the actual bipolar syndrome where you have to take medicine where you actually like go crazy and stuff like that.
How about you?
I agree with what she says. They kind of overdo it nowadays. Like, I don't think people really see the actual effect on somebody. Like, they have anxiety. Like, it can be really, really bad. But, like, someone say if they just get nervous or, like, oh, I got anxiety right now. Like, I feel like if someone actually does get anxiety, they won't take it as serious as it should be.
Yeah, it's too normalized. Like, it's too, like, it's too, how do you put it? Like, it's just too, like, okay. Like, it's just something, like, people just say
Yeah,
they
people
have
just-
just to
yeah,
say
people
that.
just say it.
It's like a trend. Like, it's kind of like one of those things people just do.
People really don't really see the effect like it has on people who actually have it and have it bad.
Okay, but I'm not saying if you actually have it, then you actually have it. But I'm just
No,
saying
no.
if you don't, then you should stop saying it.
All right, so have you ever experienced a mental health disorder?
No, I have not.
Do you know anybody that has?
A couple friends, yes.
So how do do they like come to you about their issues?
Oh yeah, they do.
They do. So like, how would you help them in those situations?
I'll just talk them through it, like step by step. Like just start off real slow, then like just help them out a lot. You know, just start off slow, then build up to where like you can get a connection with them.
That a parent says to you, doctor, how do you know my child has depression? Isn't he just a moody teenager? And if you would be able to show them a brain scan.
It takes away some of the stigma, too. I mean, look, this brain is just different from that brain.
Once you find an objective diagnostic test, the crushing stigma will start to fade away.
So have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
No.
Like depression, anxiety?
Well, yeah, depression.
Depression.
Yeah.
All right, how have you handled your depression in certain situations?
I go and make music, or I read, or I play with this nigga right here, Blue.
So, how long have you had depression?
Since my little brother passed, yeah. It's like a grief and depression. When he left, like, man, started thinking some type of way. Started just being alone by myself, not talking to anybody. Then I like overcame it.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah.
It's good, it's good, it's good. All right, so first question is, have you ever experienced a mental or a mental illness or a mental disorder?
I'm not more of a disorder, more like a kind of condition because I have ADD, so sometimes it's hard for me to focus for long periods of time.
Got you. All right, so how have you handled your ADD in certain situations?
Usually it comes at the end of some days, so at the end of the school day, I'll be more fidgety and rambunctious in my classes, more than I should be.
Do you think that it kind of affects your everyday move?
Not as much as people would think, because I've had it all my life. I've been taking medicine for it, and it hasn't really affected me in big situations because I've gotten used to it, and a lot of other people I've been around have gotten used to it too.
So my first question to you, Abby, is have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes. So about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. So depression and then anxiety.
Okay. So how have you handled your disorder in certain situations?
It's all about rewiring your brain and sort of focus on the positives rather than the negatives, which, I'm nervous, okay.
Take your time.
Which can be hard because you're used to that mindset, so it's kind of scary to get out of your comfort zone and change it, but you just have to stop in the moment and basically think about why you feel that way, what made you feel that way, and how you can fix it for the future.
So the first question is, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have. Two actually. So my first one would be a binge eating disorder, and then depression.
As Sid said, too, with depression and anxiety.
Um, so, like, how have you handled your disorder in certain situations?
Well, I always try to put on a brave face, and like I didn't tell anyone, and I would suffer in silence. So like I didn't want to worry my parents or anything like that. So and I didn't want to put more into their plate. So I would just bottle it up and try to deal with it by myself. And I turned to a lot of things, such as like writing, music, and like obviously my friends. And like I built a nice group of friends who were like there to motivate me and support me and everything. And then for my eating disorder, I just realized that it was really unhealthy for me, and like I hated looking at my body and everything. So I kind of pressured myself to stop.
I suffered from anxiety and depression ever since middle school, and I tried getting in band and getting like different classes, and I found out that it wasn't me, so I would like drop out, and then my mom would be like, "Oh, why did you drop out?" And she'll get onto me, and I'll feel bad, and it was just because that was my coping mechanism to find how to cope with that.
Right. First question is, have you ever experienced a mental health disorder?
I have.
Okay. Would you like to explain?
I have struggled with depression, anxiety. Let's see. That's pretty much it, but it's also very traumatic. I have been in and out of mental hospitals a few times, but it had nothing to do with that. It was wrongdoing. Like, I wasn't meant to be there, so it kind of like induced, it's what started my depression and anxiety.
How has, depression and stuff, with our generation and everything, how has that been an impact on us so far?
People don't really take it seriously. You see kids struggling all the time, and nobody takes it seriously. Like, it's just to a point where it's a person's point of view. Like, it's them. There's nothing you can say to them that, like, would ensure that they change everything to get better. They have to do it themselves, and that's what really is the struggle here.
All right. Have you ever had a mental disorder?
Yes, bipolar.
Bipolar disorder. All right. So, how have you handled that in certain situations?
I mean, I call my grandma when I know something to go down, or I need her to calm me down. I usually take medicine, but right now I've been doing very well without it.
So, who else has like been there for you other than your grandmother? Like any friends?
I mean, yeah, my friends, my mama. I don't really have any friends, so the ones that I do have, I consider them family. And yeah, they be there.
So the first question, have you ever experienced a mental disorder?
Yes, I have.
Depression, anxiety?
No, I mean, no. I wouldn't really say it as anxiety. It's ADHD and bipolar aggression. So, like, I mean, I guess ADHD is kind of anxiety, but bipolar aggression is more like just having a short temper.
All right. So, how have you handled your disorder?
Well, originally, I was taking medication for it. I go to like doctors every 3 months, and I just talked to them about it, and they'd give me medicine. But I started to realize that, like, one night the medicine wasn't really working, so I just didn't take it for a week or so, and I was completely fine. So I kind of just handle it by just controlling myself, honestly.
In this part of the documentary, we'll be discussing questions 3 through 5. Question 3 being, who has helped you along the way through your disorder? Question 4, Is there a way to find help if need be? And question 5, are adults willing to help adolescents?
So like who has like helped you along the way through like trying to handle like the disorder in your situations? Like was there like anybody there to
No,
kind
I
of,
didn't
like,
really
calm
like.
you down?
I mean, I didn't really need it to be calmed down because like I wasn't like. Yeah, I just want to remove myself and like for like someone to like help me out. I mean, I told my mom about it, but like I didn't want to make it seem like some like big issue that she had to like involve herself in. Like I was like, Mom, I don't feel like comfortable with all these people. Can we go? And she was like, all right, let's go.
But do you think that's right though?
Do I think it's right? Like what part? Like
yeah, like not telling your mom.
I don't know. I think some stuff you just have to power through on your own. Like if you don't want to get better, there's nothing.
Yeah, and then also like mainly with like I guess like African parents.
Yeah.
They're like they won't like they think they won't acknowledge it. They're like, you're okay, just like man up, like suck it up, or like mental illness isn't a real thing or something like that, you know? Like they'll be like,
yeah, due to like financial restrictions and
yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that. You know,
like you don't need a doctor, just be okay, you know, just pray to God and you're straight.
Yeah.
Alright, so is there like a way to find help in need?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, so like say if like somebody is experiencing the same thing that you
Okay.
are. So like is there like a way to like find help? I mean if there is a way to find help.
I mean, yeah, I guess like I don't know what it's called, but like you know like when people get like in a group and just like talk about it.
Group therapy?
Yeah, group therapy. Yeah, and like maybe like if there's like a lot of people in that group, then like there'd be more people, and then maybe like it like that like small like amount of like anxiety would like kick in. But then like over time, like you just get used to it because like you're always there for like the therapy, and then also you're not just there to be there for like a mall or a party or something. Like you're there to get help too. So you'll get used to it, and then also learn how to like better yourself for it, I guess.
Yeah, I think you just need to find people who are going through the same thing, and then you know.
Who has helped you along the way through your disorder?
Definitely certain people in my life. I wouldn't say 100% my parents. My parents, I'd say, kind of stressed me out a little bit through going through different transitions. I'd have to say it'd be certain people that affected it greatly.
Is there a way to find help if needed?
Yeah, there is. It just it's not always as obvious, or it's not always, you know, as convenient.
Do you think adults help when going through a mental disorder?
Depends on the adult. There was a 36-year-old that I work with, and I had talked to him about a few things, and he's honestly one of the wisest people I've ever talked to. But then there's also adults with like the school system, and I'm not gonna really lie, they kind of don't help most of the time. So it really does depend on the adult.
Who has helped you along the way through your disorder?
I have friends who struggle with anxiety, among other things, and they help a lot, and it helps knowing that I'm not alone with it. So they support me with everything and talk it out with me.
Good. Is there a way to find help if needed?
Yeah, there's therapy and medication and like support groups, but everyone responds to different things, so medication and therapy aren't really for everyone. For me, therapy didn't really work. I mean, it was nice to talk to someone, and it helped me today, but it wasn't like something I wanted to do long term. And then medication just made me feel like a zombie. So I decided that I was just gonna do things myself. Like I would face what's causing the anxiety head on in situations rather than avoid it. And since then, my anxiety has been so much better.
So has there been anybody that's kind of like been there for you in your time of need?
Yes, definitely.
Can you explain?
A lot of my mental health things have developed because of like family issues. So like finding outside people like my friends or even like teachers on campus that have like really been there for me, and like mentors, I think that's been the biggest helpful thing for me, I guess. Or like what was your question? Like mentors or people who have like been there for me? Yeah, I would say that for sure.
Yeah, and since I don't really know much about it, I try to understand like where she's coming from. Like if she were to come to me, I'd be like, oh, like sometimes she might not want to talk about it. I have to be understanding, like, okay, let me give her some space. You know, I just learned to be more emotionally available for the people that I know that have had these type of problems.
Because anyone with any type of mental illness, no matter the severity, they're gonna agree that there are good days and there are bad days, and there are really bad days. And it's like having people around you that understand when I'm having a really bad day, hey, I love you, but I need space. Or today, all I need from you is a hug. Or today, all I need is for you to listen to me. Or something like that. Like people who understand like what your, I guess like the symptoms that you're showcasing that day, and understanding how they can help you just that day. Because it's like a take it one day at a time sort of thing. Like those are like great. I don't even know if I answered your question, but just piggybacking off of what she said.
So how has school affected?
Hey.
Honestly, I would say that school is the main problem. Yeah. I know this because during Thanksgiving break, when we're off for a week, Christmas break, when we're off for 2 weeks, I'm like the happy, like I'm a happy person, but I'm happier when school's out of the equation. I can tell I wake up whenever I want, like I'm just happy, you know, I don't have to rush to get here. I don't have 10,000 things to do, schoolwork. I just noticed that this year, I really noticed that this year, like during the break, I feel like I was myself, like the most. I was spending time with myself, my family. But when school comes into the equation, it's like, oh, you can't really think about yourself as much when school, if that makes sense. Like you have to get your,
I would say like school exacerbates the issues, or at least for me. It's like, even if school wasn't there, like a lot of the stuff in my life that's going on is still gonna happen, but school makes it worse. Because like you're dealing with this one thing, and then, oh my gosh, I have 5 tests tomorrow that I have to study for. And it's just like, it's for me, when it comes to school, it's the pressure more so than anything. Because it's like, you know, us like being Black on top of everything, we have this pressure to like change society's perception of us, and like get good grades and go to college and like make something out of ourselves to prove everybody wrong. So there's that pressure on top of everything, like, oh, I have to study, but I can't focus because I'm thinking about this because this happened. And it's just like, it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, that's another thing that I try to use, like schoolwork, to like not think about things, but it's like the last option because schoolwork is more of like, it's a headache.
It makes it really hard to put yourself first.
Yeah.
So do you think that like there's a way to find help when you have like a mental illness?
Definitely.
Alright. So like has your sisters like ever come to you guys that they're going through something?
No. My sister, she actually isolated herself, you know, like she ran away for 3 years, and she thought that she could find her answer with her boyfriend. And so like when my mom would try like helping her and all this and that, she never wanted my mom's help because she didn't think my mom could understand or any of us. But like slowly, like she never got on medication or anything. She never got help because she never wanted like, you know, therapy or counseling or anything like that. But she like slowly like kind of found herself, and like she eventually like came back to us.
Now, like, has that affected you in a way?
Oh yeah, I know that there's like, I can't make up for lost time, and when she did come back, it was kind of weird because we couldn't talk to her the same. We had to be careful about what we tell her, the way we act with her. My mom, she's more careful with what she says to her. She doesn't really like give her the same discipline as like she'd give us, you know what I mean? Not showing favoritism, but she's just scared to like lose her again, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, my sister, she did isolate herself for a while, but since me and her are really close, like she eventually came to me and told me everything.
Do you think adults help when going through a disorder?
Well, that depends on the adult. Some people believe anxiety, depression isn't real, or just a little phase that kids go through. But it can't hurt to try to get help from a trusted adult. If you're going through something, they might surprise you.
All right. So who has helped you along the way in going or in helping you with your mental illness?
You helped me a lot. You really did. I would say Fernanda. Fernanda helped me a lot. I guess it was just my friends who were there for me during that time that helped me understand that I shouldn't be going through it alone. That it's okay to actually feel what I feel, and I should just not bottle it up till I explode.
Gotcha. So you said during school that you would hide it. So was there like any teachers or any adults that you would talk to?
I would say Mr. Rodriguez for sure. If I really couldn't go to class, I would go with him, or I would talk about how I feel. He would just understand how much pressure at that time we would feel, or that we weren't just ready, or just all this stress, everything was just on top of our shoulder, and he would just help you understand, clear view of it being okay, I guess you could say.
Gotcha. So who has helped you along the way through your disorder? So you say counseling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, counseling has helped me, and
like friends.
Definitely some of my close friends have helped me throughout this whole thing, and my mother. So they've been very helpful throughout the whole thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So do you think that there's a way for kids to like get help if need be?
I feel like there is a way for kids to get help, but the help might not be sufficient enough. People think when they're helping that they're like actually helping them get rid of the anxiety, but anxiety never really goes away. It's always there. So yes, I do believe there's help, but sometimes it's not enough.
All right. So do you think that adults help when going through a disorder?
I do feel like adults help, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes they're in denial that their own child has it. So like, if their child says they have depression, they'll be like, "Oh, you're just going through puberty or this and that. It will go away later." And they like sometimes deny the fact that their child even has it, and that affects them even more.
Gotcha. So you said that your mother has helped you out. So like,
Yes.
What are some of that your mom?
So when I have panic attacks, anxiety gives panic attacks. So she'll be there to tell me to like calm down. She'll be like, "Why are you thinking like this? You should be thinking like this. Like you're thinking the worst possible thing can happen," and that's so irrational. Irrational thoughts come with anxiety. So she's helped me, clear my mind, help me think more rational.
They say a bitch says 1,000 words, so Trey made a movie. So much damn hurt in my system got me woozy. Days looking gloomy, trouble seeing beauty. Mind no longer.
All right. In this part of the documentary, question 6. Very opinionated, but we'll be discussing here how does your mental disorder affect you during school?
Going back to school, so as you guys, for you, went through school in the past, for you currently going through school, how does depression or any mental disorder you may suffer from affect your everyday movement during school?
Well, for me, I just became very antisocial. Like, I still had some friends, I'd still talk to some people, but for the most part, like, I didn't talk to anyone when I was in class, I didn't talk to anyone when I was walking through the hallways. It just really, plus school itself is a really bad environment for someone like that, in general, just speaking in general terms, just because you're packed in like sardines for 8 hours a day, and it's not a fun situation. And so
everyone's fucking bad.
Yeah, so in my experience, being at school made it worse.
So like, if you try to ask for help at school, you're basically gonna put your hand out and you're gonna get kicked in the face. Like, first school, like, at least me, it's like, you walk through the hall with your head down, your headphones on, and you don't listen to what people say because everyone has an opinion and everyone gets so offended nowadays. It doesn't even feel worth the socialization. And so then whenever you do feel like there's something wrong, you go to a counselor, and that counselor will just go and tell your parents, and based upon your situation at home, you don't know if you're going to get help or if things are going to get worse. I mean, there isn't exactly an affirmative outlet for kids to have at school. It feels like everyone says that there's a safe space, but that safe space doesn't really exist whenever just the society that we live in. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Alright, so going to like school and everything, so like on a day-to-day basis during school, like how has depression like been like on onset?
The going through depression during school, it just brings the whole mood and atmosphere down. To me, it's like every day I go to school, I just be like, and wait till I go home. I hate class, I hate teachers, I hate lunch, I hate everything. I hate getting on the school bus every morning. You know, it just makes me feel just down all the time. It just always makes me think negative. And I'm not really a negative person. I like to think positive vibes. And depression just drags me down on the ground.
How would you think that school is handling kids with mental illness?
Very poorly. I feel like schools could do so much better, and like, you know, the counselors always say, you can come to me, you can trust me, blah, blah, blah. It's a safe place, but it really doesn't feel like that at all. And I don't know, I feel like schools could be doing so much more to help kids, and other than just like putting the freaking metal detectors and everything, I feel like there could be other things to prevent all of these shootings. But I mean, even if that happened, I feel like nothing would change unless like a law would apply into like the guns and everything. Because really, a person who's suffering from mental illness can like find any way to harm others as well. So I don't know. I just feel like schools could be doing so much more to help kids.
In schools, the most part I've seen were like taken by students. You know, they put posters up, but I don't really like hear teachers or counselors talking about it. They're just very distant about it because they focus more on like, oh, you know, get through college and stuff, but also mental illness. Like it's important to get through success and go to like college.
I feel like it's ignored a lot also, like yeah, sure, you hear like a little bit of it, but a lot of people don't like take the time to sit down and like actually listen. So yeah.
And with the guns as well, like if schools see that, oh, you know, the student caused a shooting because of mental illness, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we should like improve this. We should, you know, so we can like not have less shootings.
What do you guys think that?
Huh?
Why do you guys think that they're not really doing anything about it? I mean, do you guys feel as though that's their job?
I mean,
yeah, I feel like
it's a responsibility.
Yeah, I should be able to feel safe at school and like. I'm thinking like, hello, everybody's walking in and everything. I feel like I should be able to feel safe at school and like, I don't know. It's just sad that people aren't doing everything they can.
We should feel comfortable in school. And so far, I mean, I don't feel comfortable. Sometimes, yeah.
Going back to school real quick, like how did those disorders affect your everyday movement?
Oh my god. So, for one, it made me isolate myself, and it's the reason why I am the way I am now. It's the reason why it's so hard for me to make friends, because I feel like I'm literally being judged by everybody. I kind of learned to overcome that, but I basically don't know how to help it now. I just isolate myself from everybody. I don't really talk to many people. I watch how I move and what I say and how I say it. I don't really have anxiety as much anymore. I do, but I just learn to like contain it. But I'm not very social with people at school.
So, how has school affected you in your bipolar disorder?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like school, so school don't be helping nothing. But like the people there, I get along with them. Some I don't. I just stay away from them and stay around the positive people. You know, work my way around. Yeah.
So do you think that teachers and counselors are beneficial?
No.
How come?
I don't think counselors are, because the counselors here don't really keep things a secret as they should. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some teachers do, but then like a lot of these teachers gossip like students. So like, you know, things get around. But like you have to have your one teacher that you just trust in order to tell, which I do.
Do you think that's right?
I mean, I don't think it's right, but it's life. Yeah.
Alright, so going back to school, so how does your ADD like play a factor in your social and like during school and just your interactions with everybody?
In school, I think my interactions with my peers are always good, but my teachers always good. But my schoolwork, it comes where like I'll get a hold of the phone, I see a message pop up, and it's a wrap. I'll be on the phone about 30 minutes, and the whole class period don't flew by. I'm paying attention.
In this part of the documentary, we are going to be hearing from our young adolescents, stating once again whether they feel teachers are beneficial to helping them cope with their mental health illness or not, and why. Many students who deal with mental illnesses or may not deal with mental illnesses believe that there are a lot of things that schools and educators can do in helping students deal with their mental illnesses. So we went online to mentalhealth.gov to find a list of things that educators can do in helping students deal with their mental behavior. One of the many things that we found online was that educators can do actually quite a few things that can help students deal with the mental behavior. Some of these actions may include feeling sad or withdrawn for more than 2 weeks, repeated use of drugs and alcohol, not eating or throwing up, or using laxatives to make someone lose weight, involvement in many fights or desires to badly hurt others. We also found a list of things that educators can do in the classroom to help students deal with their mental disorders. Some of these things that we found that educators can do in classrooms include encouraging to help others, encouraging good physical health, help ensure access to school-based mental health supports. Some of the effective programs used was promoting healthy social and emotional development of all children and youth, and identifying how to intervene early and take the appropriate action when there are problems. Many of these ideas used from mentalhealth.gov have been spread to different educators and parents, but not all of them are used effectively. So in this part of the documentary, we are going to be hearing from the adolescents stating their own personal experience on how they have dealt with their mental disorders, alongside with trying to receive help from teachers and different educators. Are teachers beneficial with helping with your mental disorder?
Most of the time, no. I had a run-in with a counselor, whereas I tried reaching out for help, where a biology teacher wanted to help me more than a counselor wanted to help me. And when I tell you that I walked out of one of the counselor's office and just started bursting into tears, because they were more concerned about my education than my mental health, I tell you that's the realest it gets.
The teachers, like I feel like if you make that connection with them, if you make that connection with those teachers, then they would help you. I've seen it like firsthand, but like as far as if somebody doesn't really know you, or counselors, especially if you don't even know your counselor like that, they don't even offer any type of help for you. They just push it off and shrug it off like everything's okay, and it's not. So
Some are understanding of what you're going through. Others just might see you as a joke. They're like, no, it's okay, it's just life, like you'll get over this. But some teachers just don't understand how really it feels, because they don't feel it at all. Like, that's us briefly, not them. So it's like half and half, like some don't understand, some do understand better than others. It's just, I guess, depending on who's experienced it before.
Now, why do you think that teachers probably don't understand?
Probably because of lack of experience. Maybe they've never dealt with it, or they're just like, oh, they're just high school kids, we've been through it, like, you know. But it was at a different time period when us, as a new generation, it's just more different than what they had before in their time. It's just, I guess, lack of mostly understanding. They just don't get how to feel physically or emotionally.
So back to the point, like with teachers and everything, like I know like most teachers or counselors would say like they're just doing their job.
Right.
You know, like if it comes to like a kid killing themselves, or or like if a shooter comes in, like just shoots up the whole school. And like if like a child gets hurt, like if, especially like if the shooter like went to that school.
Right.
Like some teacher would say, like that like they did their job and like to talking to them. So like, do you think that like by them doing their job, is that enough?
By them doing their job, is that enough? Well, if you think about it, their job is to counsel us, speak to us, make sure that we're behaving properly. That's what, administrators are supposed to do, aside from teachers. So, I don't really think that's enough. If you think about it, it depends on what you consider their job is. Like if they think their job is, putting a kid in ISS or detention for doing something bad, and that's it, then going home, being about their day, then they're not doing their job. That's not enough. You need to be. If you're going to commit to a job like that, you need to be invested in the children at that school. Because a lot of times, counselors or like administration, they get the big head. So like they feel like that they don't need to do anything about issues or problems that come within the school. Like I've seen it time and time again where a person has come with a problem continuously to a counselor and they still do nothing, or they say they'll take care of it and never do anything. And I understand, they do have a busy job, there's a lot of things they have to do. There's a lot of kids in that school, but you have to realize if somebody's coming to you multiple times with the same issue, there's obviously something wrong. Right. And if they tried to come to you and you didn't do anything time and time again, you didn't do your job. So I think they have a misconception of what doing their job is. So, yeah.
I will only give 3 people the actual, they knew what they were doing whenever they helped. We're going to start off with Mr. Seward. Rest in peace, that man. He's one of the best people that has ever helped me through anything. That was the realest man I've ever talked to. Because he didn't go to a school to get paid. He went to a school to help. shit, and that's what matters right there. Mr. Stewart was the best teacher that was put in the Plano district, and he will be remembered for the longest time. Yeah, Mr. Flores, the best chemistry teacher ever, that gave us some of the most realist stories, that helped us through some of the most realist shit.
I can think of, a few teachers throughout the time that I was in high school that, really did care about, how their students were feeling and all that. But they're actually pretty rare and far and between, and it's one of those things where it's nice to know that that's there, but, you almost don't want to take advantage of it in a way. I wish I could explain it a little bit better than that, but that's the gist.
Again, that depends on the teacher. I've had teachers who have been very supportive and helpful, but I've also had teachers who dismissed my struggle, so it really just depends.
That society is doing its best to, help kids with mental illness?
I really don't think they do. Nobody takes it as seriously as they should unless they're actually living it. And it's kind of rough to find other people who are living it that will really relate to you because nobody says anything about it. Because nobody takes it seriously. So it's literally just a loop because nobody takes our shit seriously. And nobody's gonna recognize it, just like they don't recognize anything else.
Definitely better today. Society, it really just depends. It can be very positive. It can be very negative. You see a lot of famous people and more people sharing their stories about how they struggle online. And there is a lot of positivity surrounding that, but there's also a lot of negativity. And I feel like there's just so much ignorance right now. If there was more education, if more people tried to understand, then it would be better. So really, awareness could be better. But I think we're on the right path to making it better. So.
Question here: is society doing all they can in helping kids with mental disorders?
Not that I know of, I personally don't think so. They don't really care. They think it's just like it's a joke. They think it's funny, so it's not.
I feel like society does acknowledge the fact that mental illness is out here killing people, affecting people's lives. Like you said earlier, mental illness contributes to why we have school shootings, But I feel like we need to be more serious about this kind of stuff because those mental illnesses, depression, all the other mental illness, it can really destroy a person's life if they don't get the help that they need. So as far as how they doing, I feel like they could do better. That's what I could say. They can do better.
They can do better, yeah.
Much better.
I think I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I think that they're really trying, but the problem is they're trying to turn it into a system, and the human construct is not predictable whatsoever. You know what I mean? And that's why different things, like the same illness, can affect two different people completely opposite of each other. You know what I mean? And so they're trying to create a system for it, but there's no consistency to build it off of.
Literally, like, if they're trying to say that they're putting it all, then how come it was so hard for me when I was trying to go get help on my own? I went to an office to go talk to somebody, and I had to fill out so much shit just to talk to somebody, just to say some shit. Like, without being judged. I mean, like, fuck, it's like, I was 14 years old, I didn't know my fucking social security. I mean, I'm fucking 14-year-old dude. I mean, shit. I don't know what Medicare or Medicaid is.
I barely know what day it is, dude. Like,
I mean, it's not like I live in a society where I can go walk down to Walmart and be like, Julie, I'm feeling sad. No, it's not fucking like that. It's not. I mean, so it's near impossible for people to go get help nowadays because it's system filled.
Definitely not. Not at all. There's so many things that can change. I know in France, going back to the eating disorder thing, I know in France, like with Photoshop and digital media, it's been making mental illness more talked about subject, but there aren't really solutions that are being put out there. I know in France that whenever a picture on Instagram or something is photoshopped, they have to add, like include, like this picture was photoshopped. This isn't happening in America. I think there's so many steps that we can take in improving mental health for all.
So do you think that society is doing all they can to help kids in need?
Yeah, I feel like there's work being put in to help kids in need, but I feel like there could be more to be done, like programs at school, maybe after school programs where people can go like and sit in a circle and talk about how their day went and just talk, because sometimes just talking about it helps, and some people just need to talk about it. So I feel like we are trying to help, but I feel like we need to try harder because we're not trying hard enough.
No, I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because, like, personally at school, like, with teachers, the teachers that I have, they're great, they're good. I feel like they're good people. I feel like they're good teachers. But I would say that sometimes the way that they say things or they go about things, it's kind of, they could have done it in a better way, because there are kids who do have those issues, and sometimes it's more obvious than others. And I feel like these teachers, they put us all in one category. They generalize us, and they don't really think about each student individually in their situation.
No.
What'd you say?
Final answer? Do you think society is doing all they can in helping kids with mental illness?
No. Not at all.
Why not?
Schools don't mention it enough. They don't.
Nobody really helps. Nobody makes it like a big deal.
Therapy doesn't help that much.
Parents make it about them. Everyone else makes it about them.
So, would you say that adults kind of makes it worse?
Yes.
Very.
So, instead of an adult, who would you talk to?
My friends.
Sister,
Very close
friends.
Only my friends.
Sister, my friends.
Think society is doing all they can in helping kids with a similar disorder like yours?
I definitely don't think that society's doing all they can. I think it has come a really long way from where they started. It used to be that, if you had a mental disorder, you were weird or you were like sick. But I think that destigmatizing therapy and even just having a mental illness has made society and the mentally ill a lot more comfortable with coming to terms that this is a thing that happens, and it's a thing that, we have to come together to fix. It's not a thing that, you can be like, I don't want to have anxiety anymore. It's a supportive environment that will fix it, and that can't happen if people don't accept that this happens. So I think that in the future, hopefully, it'll be more of an effort, but I think that it's come a long way from where it started.
It depends, because kids get picked off having any type of illness or disorder. But I feel like mental illness, it flies under the radar, so nobody acknowledges it as much as you would think. So I'm gonna have to say I don't know. I can't give a firm yes or no on that question, because me personally, I don't think that we're doing enough, but I don't think that we're not doing anything at all.
As we went through the documentary, these adolescents gave pretty interesting answers. Some of the answers that they gave, to me personally, did not really surprise me in a way. These are things that adolescents go through on a daily basis in school, at home, or in many various settings. The answers that they gave really reflect on the true detail of what an adolescent struggles with when it comes to mental illness.
Hello. So we're at the end of the documentary. So glad that you guys, or that you took the opportunity to watch the film and really get an in-depth understanding of what these adolescents are going through mental health-wise, at home and at school.
The answers that the adolescents gave also go along with the statistics of what we see in mental illness with adolescents.
I believe that this is a very sensitive yet urgent topic that needs to be addressed. And, kind of just to sum up everything, mental health really does play a big role in our lives. I mean, starting at the age of 5, when your brain is really developing in a unprecedented way, very fast. You know, I believe that at the age of 5, that's when you know, you start to dream and think more. Also too, you know, I mean, not just at the age of 5, but, you know, also at, you know, age 13, I mean, even up into like 20, 30, like mental health really, really does take part in our lives. And, you know, it's very important that, you know, if you are going through a mental illness issue right now, you know, seek help. Talk to some friends, you know, counselors, just people that you trust or that you know deeply, that you know that will help you through the situation that you're going through. You know, we're not all perfect in the world. I know that, but you know, there is somebody out there that's willing to at least be there for you.
While there may not be a definite cure in helping adolescents with their mental illness, and there may not be a for sure way to make it all go away, we do believe that there are many ways that we can help these adolescents deal with their mental illness and find ways to cope with it and make things perceived to be better as they go through life and not struggle with their daily movements.
I ain't see a good way, so I had to make one. All it took was good faith and a little patience. Money on my mind, I ain't got no time to play some. I was down bad, think I used to have to take some. Figure this shit out now.
You know, the reason why I did this documentary was kind of just to really expose how mental health really can impact one's life. You know, this being a research paper now to a film, a motion picture documentary is, I mean, this is huge, but you know, there's still work needed to be done. You know, this is just the first steps, and hopefully that this will be the very first major step into caring or really just helping kids with mental illness. Man, this is just crazy because it's just really something that needs to be addressed. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this documentary, because, you know, it's just a lot of people out there that are really struggling, that's willing to be helped, but at the same time, they're not. And, you know, I'm not saying that it's our job, it's our duty, you know, to kind of go out there and, you know, kind of rough them up and say, like, you need help, you know, let me help you. But, you know, it's really up to that person to really come to you as a person, you know, saying like, hey, I need help. Can you help me in any way? So, you know, yeah, this is a very important issue that's really going on right now. And but those are my insights to the answers. I'm sorry if I ran on too long. Yeah, so yeah, man, you know, I mean, it's just so crazy, and it's kind of weird because, you know, I mean, this really touches my heart, me doing this project. I mean, I started this as a research paper in school, and man, it's just, it made it a long way, I'll be honest with you. You know, but yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to my own zone, but yeah.
Hi, I'm Abby Almendares.
Paris Neal.
Ada Joel. Chloe Woodard.
Leah Thompson.
Alicia Berwin.
Hi, my name's Sonali Rodriguez.
And I'm Lisa Salazar.
Abraham Bannon. Jonathan Gazaya.
Quinn Driscoll Mathers.
I'm Caitlin Moore. Marquis, I got something. Okay, I'm Kia Walters.
Landon Zealous.
Harvey Moore.
Alina Hamlin.
Isis Martin.
Hi, my name is Lexi Sinclair.
Anna Rivera. Catherine Foster.
Edward McNeil.
Hi, I'm Cece. Hi, I'm Desiree.
Colin Hogan.
Zion Wilson.
I'm Aaliyah Bradley.
I'm with Crystal Garcia, you know what I'm saying, and we're interviewing for our documentary here.
created
a different
mental
type
illness
of
for
mental
ourselves.
illness.
Like social media,
it's because we're dealing with things that people in the past didn't
never
have
have never ever
Yeah.
been through. Like
Yeah.
social media, this is the first generation that
has
engulfed.
Uh-huh.
I've been engulfed by social media. So like people don't even know. Like they sit up here all day like I don't care what nobody says, you know, I'm not worried about what the next person says.
Yeah.
But
They go
social
home and
media, like they seek validation through
That's
social
it.
media.
Yes.
Like if somebody's not telling them that they look good or somebody's not telling them this and that and da da
They
da.
don't get enough likes,
Exactly.
comments,
Exactly.
retweets,
Oh, it's
tweets.
World 6, okay?
It's like, oh my gosh, it strikes this new like feeling within yourself, like, am I enough?
Exactly.
Say it like that. Say Keen. Hello, my name is You ugly.
Be like, is that the official thing?
No, it's not.
Okay, good.
Oh.
That is. No.
All right, you can say it now.
You want to?
You sure? It's kind of hot. Sure? Yeah? Okay, thanks. We're gonna have bloopers like this. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay,
We're gonna go home.
What?
Oh, y'all gonna walk home?
Y'all gonna walk?
We can walk home.
Dang, y'all lit up.
Are y'all sure?
We're like 10 minutes away.
Are you recording?
My wallet is in there. My wallet is in the bag.
Oh, wait.
Do y'all want some?
Alright, so how have you handled your disorder in certain situations?
Honestly,
I listen to
horribly.
music. Yeah,
Feeding
music.
like me.
No, I listen to music.
I kind of hold it in.
You know, smoke some weed.
I hold it in
until I get home.
No, I just hold it in forever. I don't tell anybody. I don't. No, I hold it in, and then eventually I get overheated.
You know, and a few homies.
Y'all see fucking
Yeah.
guys.
You gotta, the homies have to
Yeah, I feel like
have
this is like
to get
not.
over it.
Good job, Crystal. Yay! You did this. What did you break?
What did I? What did I break? Excuse you. So mean.
No, you just dropped the bomb.
So mean, like crazy. Okay. I would have hit you with the ketchup level though. I was trying. Can't even fix this. Can't even fix this. Not with you. See, can't even fix it.
Wow, it
No,
caught
what?
all that on camera too.
Wait, we're still recording?
Yes. No, that's funny. That's funny. It's okay. It's okay. Wow. Not Ray. You knocked over Ray Charles.
I'm not
He's blind.
sorry.
In the adolescent mind, the mind of a warrior, one of a kind. Shit, as I look to the sky, the goddamn clouds, they start to arise. Been rolling down a lonely road to illness. Depression, obsession, these illness killing me. They killing me. Yeah.
Fans a bunch of Cardi questions and
None of them know that shit.
huh?
None of them know that shit.
One of the guys got everything right though. One of the black guys, but them white girls, bro, they're so stupid. They're like, working.
Cause he didn't connect it to
Are
the
you a
Bluetooth,
Wizards fan,
dumbass.
brother? What team you like?
I'm a Mavericks fan.
I'm so sorry, but that just